Neil!
Tsunami 643 rated with 36 viewers.
How are you, bud? Have I not VIP'd my boy? Oh, you are a VIP. Excellent. Welcome to the VIP club. Good result. Good result. Shit, we were in the middle of a walker. Which one was it? Episode... Did we finish episode 2? Oh yeah, this was 3. That's right.
Just got it in. Direct from the governor's office. Seems like there's someone been taking pot shots at Congressman Leo Cave.
From what I hear, it could be half the members of his own party.
I don't get political on me, Walker. Just listen. According to the report, one bullet demolished his living room window. Another came within an inch of hitting him while he was riding in his car.
Why are we just hearing about this?
They tried to keep it quiet. He's a stubborn man. He likes to think he can take care of himself. After the first incident, if it was the first, his wife called 911. Police showed up, but he refused to file a report. The second time, he was driving.
Sorry.
Again, he refused to file a report.
This is a U.S. congressman, isn't it?
That's why I'm assigning you two to protect him. 8-hour shifts with 2 hours overlap. That'll guarantee that one or both of you will be on duty 24 hours a day.
Sounds like he doesn't want protection.
And Walker, I guess it's your job to convince him.
Let's check the Walker bingo. So far we've got Walker, Texas racist. Inexplicable decisions by upper management? I don't think so. We'll see. They just love the music. This show is absolutely abysmal. Like, it might even be worse than I thought it was going to be. It's that bad. He said, oi. So I think his name was Oi. What a start. No, we didn't sign anyone big in the summer. Oh. Oh. This lad that we signed it, I did sign a right back for reasonable money. He's very good. That's that lad, Huzzah. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, look at that. You know what I mean? This lad's a right back. He set up 2 goals. Doing alright, thank you. Great through ball. Look at that. Great. 21? Panionios, the oldest team in Greece, established in 1980 and due to financial reasons fell into the 3rd division of Greece. You took them from Div 2 and won 8 league titles, 1 Champions League and 4 to 5 Greek Cups. And this is your first FM save ever. It's great fun, eh? It's the storylines that it creates. Back to winner ways. I'm not one to look at and rate these things. I mean, it sounds like you've done great, so why do you need me to rate your team? Your achievement speaks for itself. Oh, we finished the stadium. Nice. Damn, we've got 80,000 here now. What? these penalties, man? Jesus. Good goal, Bournemouth. Yeah, I don't feel great, but nice work, everyone. That was good. Shame, Bournemouth were on a flyer. They're just outside the European places. Wait, is Javier Zanetti the manager? Paolo Zanetti. So guess what? Guess who we fucking here's some detail that'll anger you. Well, it should do. It angered me. Who did we bump into in the fucking Champions League? Oh, it's Real Madrid. And we fucking lost 2-1 again. Which was very annoying. Meanwhile, let's check in on the Champions League. Who's been winning it? Let's have a look at who's been winning the Champions League. Previous winners. Oh, look, Bayern Munich have won it 3 years in a row. Yeah, so 9 years, you fucking melt. What are you talking about? Has it been 9 years? Nearly 10. So that's 9 years. That is 9 years. I feel like the AI doesn't suffer from the same... actually, that's not true. I think sometimes it's just the way it goes. Like, maybe they sign a couple of players here and there that just sort of make the difference, or it could be as simple as, you know, the players that I signed, like Simone Scotta, hit his peak over the last few seasons, right? Like, this is when I think this is when I left. Well, maybe this is when I left. But either way, we had him when he was still relatively young. Now he's peaking. Ayrton Roth, who I also signed, has become a really fucking good player, because I knew he would. Diego, a fullback that I signed, has now become a really fucking good player. Alex Wisser, another player that I signed, has become a really good player. Where's Tress? There's Edward Tress. Edward Tress was young when I had him. He's an absolute fucking barnstormer. Look at that. 27 goals, 7 in Europe. 11 goals in the Champions League. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens. He couldn't hit a fucking barn door when we had him. Dusan Kovic, who I also signed, has gone on to be an excellent fucking player. I loved Dusan Kovic. I really, really wanted him to be a Spurs player, but he's too expensive. Is this Janino from... Yeah. So he was okay. I don't particularly like that signing. I mean, Oliver Boulanger, another player that I signed for 40 million, and he's become one of the best right wingers in German football history. Look at this. Look at that. That's a disgusting season. So I think I laid the groundwork. Check her name? What?
I joined the Rangers.
Is it a complicated name? Alright, this is so shit. I actually don't think I can watch it, in all honesty. Like, it's not even fun. It's just dreadful. But I am curious to see what people make of the bill. So just as a reference, this is like the season of the bill that isn't really the bill, because these are hour long. Let me just look. When did the it's season 2. The bill. 2,425 episodes. Good God. List of Bill episodes. So season 0, series 0. This was called Wooden Top, which was the pilot. And then the Bill series 1, Artichoke Hill to Sun Hill Police Station, set and location filming. So Wooden Top, the pilot was filmed in Teddington, but then they built something in Wapping. They've made a lot of episodes. So I'm going to skip to season 2 when it actually becomes like the bill that I remember. It should have the theme music and everything else, but we'll see. Thunderhawk!
Say between Lee and his dad.
Star Trek! And a picture of a personal computer. Christ. This could have been my bedroom, apart from there's no poster of Erica Eleniak. This is season 1. Oh god, this is season 10. Wait, how? Why does it go 1, 10, 11, and then 5, and then 6? God almighty. Maybe they just don't have season 2. 0, 1, straight to 10. Wait. It says season 10 for basically all of them. Then season 11, 12, 13, 14, and then it suddenly goes to 4 and 3 and 2. So this was 94. I'll be honest with you, I don't really care. They're all going to be pretty much the same. Yeah, it looks like it is, but it's not alphabetical, it's just the numbering. Because it goes 0 and then 1. They've misnumbered it. It had a lot of series. I mean, it was episodic. There was no carryover from one to the next. It wasn't like a soap. Can't fucking defend. We just cannot fucking defend. It's actually really bad. Yeah, exactly. It's terrible. I mean, I think episodic TV absolutely has its place. And people have just decided it all has to be like long form. Modern television's like a novel, but sometimes you just want to bosh something on for half an hour. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's a reason that people love things like Taskmaster, not just because it's funny, but because it's not like you missed something last week. I don't know, my kids love watching half-hour shows. It's mainly sitcoms that do that. Because you can't stretch a premise out to an hour as easily. Half an hour is like the perfect length of time for a comedy show, I think. I don't know why the game hates me so much. We hit the fucking woodwork more than any other team. Oh, What We Do in the Shadows is great. My daughter loved things like Superstore and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she liked What We Do in the Shadows as well, of course. Like, she likes that kind of sitcom format, Modern Family, Arrested Development, and a thing that's like half an hour and funny. She likes that. It's just a good length for a TV show. Yes, Yatesy! It's just a bit dated, I think. A lot of it. It's very simple. We watched some Blackadder the other day, and it was like, I don't think it's as clever as we remember. I remember liking it when I was a kid. You watch it now, it just feels a bit. It's like you could almost program something to come up with a Blackadder insult. It's going to talk about farting or something like that, or how much Baldrick smells. But that was the tail end of like that 80s comedy where having repetition. Oh, that's offside, unfortunately, Win. So devastating. If you had a catchphrase, you were good. So, Alola was terrible. British Empire was terrible. I don't know what Chef is. I don't remember that at all. Alola was terrible. British Empire was terrible. These were just catchphrase shows. Yes, Mr. British. Thank you, Mr. British. Like, it was just the same shit every time. I'm astonished that people have any fondness for the British Empire. Black Books was amazing.
Oh no.
Yours is the generation that believes all cops are bastards. I support you in that. And as soon as a citizen makes a complaint and acts like a bit of a cock, you want the coppers to fucking bang him up. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want, you lot. You side with whoever spoke last. Exactly. Have you guys seen this website, Jubilee? So more of a YouTube channel. They get people in, and the setup is that you have a ring of like 20 people, and you have a speaker, it's sort of a debater who's like someone who's known or intelligent or learned, and then 20 morons. And the idea is the morons come in and argue their case. And the sane person has to try and talk them down. Hold on. It's very good. They did one with this guy called Sam Cedar, who was an actor, comic actor, and now he's like political commentator, YouTuber, and stuff like that. Interesting guy, really likable guy, if you're liberal like me. And he had this debate with these guys. There's this one guy in particular that was genuinely scary. Oh! I'll find it for you. Oh my God, Ipswich have scored? What is happening, Bournemouth? Mrs. F's flight. Oh, wow. So, my wife has gone to Japan for 2 weeks for work. She found out 2 days ago she had to go. She had 1 day to prepare, and then she flew this morning. And I've been tracking her flight on Flight Radar and showing the kids where she's at and everything. But obviously that's where we're going on our holiday this summer. So I was like, oh man, I hoped we'd get to like explore Japan for the first time as a family. But then I also thought, oh wait a minute, she can be like the scout who goes ahead and figures out what's the crack, you know? She's like the literal scout party for our holiday. She works in IT. I mean, she works for like a company that is like an international company, so they've got like offices all over the world, and you know, she's relatively senior in her company. What's wrong with Alan Davis? He's a cunt. He's an unfunny cunt. How about that? I've never liked him. I've never found him funny. Anything he's on, I've tried to avoid. I do not understand why the man is successful. I cannot stand him. He's the absolute epitome of the first most obvious joke out of your mouth comedian. He's awful.
You never know, do you?
Wow! 1994. You see what we're working with here? No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, sir. We finished Kitchen Nightmares, and Hell's Kitchen. It wasn't for me. It was just horrible. Gordo was just so mean all the time, and I just couldn't stand it. You know what I mean? This lad was the one that I spent all the money on. He was my big signing of the summer. Because a 33-year-old right back who I was trying to ease out of the club, but who was well liked. Hotel Series is not available in the UK. That right back, he wanted to go. Club came in and offered me 60 million for him. He's 33, remember? And I said, yeah. And half the team came to me and said, we can't believe you sold him. And I said, you do realise, I wanted to say, he asked to go. If you want me to keep players prisoner here, let me know. I'll bear it in mind next time one of you comes to me with a transfer request. Oh no, we didn't mean that. So no, you can't say that. All you can say is things like, he was a bad influence. You can also say things like, oh, we're broke, so we needed the money. And they're like, we don't care about that. So I went with, I'll sign in. Don't worry, I've got a replacement lined up. And they said, oh, well, we'll see about that. So I had to go out and buy a fucking right back. The player power shit in this is so obnoxious. Like, the fact that players want to go to a bigger club, I get that. I do get that. And I think if you had a relationship with the senior players at the club, where they could be like, boss, can I have a word? And they say, so, you know, you'd talk to them. And you'd be like, look, he was 60 million for a 33-year-old is good business. And you'd be like, look, I want to, we've got a young right back coming through. We've got backup right backs. I cannot keep players forever, especially not when they want to go, and we can get 60 million for them at 33. That's a conversation you would have. Mystery diners. Did it, did it, did it. Ooh, I wonder if undercover boss. Are you lads not enjoying the build then? It's fair enough. Oh! Oh my god, we're 2-0 down to Ipswich. This is a disaster. I know Kenny versus Spenny, but those are shows that are good. I want to find shows that are like kind of shit. Oh, right. And to think, you know, some of these lads were like... just not... Like, Everton were a big team a couple of seasons ago, and now we're whipping them 5-0. Oh shit! Oh shit! Did you see that go? Evan Nielsen scored. Right, Mrs. F is currently over the Yellow Sea. Just another 2 hours to go. Good God. it's the problem with Walker is it is really bad. Like, it's not even enjoyably bad. It's just every episode is an hour long and miserable. Because, do you know what? And I fucking said this when we were watching it. Is that we can complain about Shatner's acting, right? But he lights up the screen. When he's on the screen, everybody's looking at him. When he's not, everybody's saying, "Where's Shatner?" That is William Shatner on TV. You can't take your eyes off it. He was just... He understood how to keep people's attention. Chuck Norris can't act. Everything he says is the same. Same delivery, same voice, all of it. He just says his lines. Like, he could be talking to a victim, or he could be talking to a bad guy, and his tone of voice and the way he speaks is identical in all cases. Do you know what? Nice work, everyone. That was good. That was good. That's us top. That's how you put a fucking marker down. Let me show you guys this crazy guy.
Is not full of.
Voted out by the majority, please.
Sure. Okay, so I would like to touch on the religious fundamentalist aspect.
So, the Sam Cedar statement is, unless you're a billionaire, religious fundamentalist, or a xenophobic nationalist, voting for Trump was a mistake. All right, that's his contention. This is this guy arguing about the religious fundamentalist side of things. Just listen to what he has to say and realize that this is not some old boomer. This guy is the same age as a lot of you guys.
Yeah. Are you an atheist?
I'm a Reformed Jew. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
Okay, so what's wrong with religious fundamentalists? So, like, when you said trans rights and women's rights or something like that?
Well, the problem I have with religious fundamentalists, and really more, I guess it's really theocrats,
okay,
is that they want to impose their...
If you liked that girl, if you thought she was pretty...
theocrats.
She is an actual Nazi. She's a literal white supremacist, white ethno-state-seeking Nazi. If you haven't seen this video. The shit she says is wild.
Okay. Is that they want to impose their morality that comes from their religion on the rest of us, and I don't.
But morality, from your view, is going to be a preference, right? It's not morality; it's a preference.
See, this guy's angling for the same thing that a lot of religious people say, which is that without God, there's no morality. Which is this myth that before God, morality was just a choice. Despite the fact that the essence of morality, if you look at even the Christian arguments for what morality is basically get along with your neighbors and don't be a dick and, like, you know, live in a functional society. And then tapped on top is a bunch of stuff about worshipping the right God. Like, that's all the Christian morality is. Do they think they invented thou shalt not kill? Clearly not. Like, you don't have to be religious. And they think that without religion, we would never have landed on morality. Because they've been told that prior to religion, it was just a bloodbath. Sorry, but post-religion, it's also been a bloodbath. I think that's just human beings. It doesn't change what morality is. Anyway.
What's the...
So morality without a foundation is going to reduce you to a preference.
Well, I have a foundation for my morality.
Which is what?
It's a humanist vision of what basically creates as little suffering as possible for as many people.
Okay, so you're like a consequentialist? Utilitarian?
I don't really bother myself with being a consequentialist or a utilitarian.
It's always going to reduce you to a preference. So if you say that killing is wrong and I say it's right, you would really have no contention with that.
Well,
see, his implication is that without morality, it's a preference. And you'll understand why he finds that so important.
No.
This guy, by the way, is Latino, I think. And he's a white nationalist, essentially. He's a Christian nationalist. The Christian nationalists he thinks are his friends want him out of the country. This is insane.
I don't base my understanding of civil society on religion. And so we have a civil society.
Okay.
We have laws that we have decided as a society in a democratic way. And for some people, it's okay for it to be informed by their religion. That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if tomorrow society comes together and we say, hey, trans folks don't deserve rights, you would be okay with that?
No, I would be against it, but I mean it would be
morally right under your
not
view.
morally right. No. I'm not talking about morals.
Okay,
here.
so here's where I'm getting to, right? Religious foundations provide an ethical framework for one to live their life off.
I
of.
believe you can have an ethical framework without religion.
And if we take the leftist view to its logical tail end, to its extreme view, you have low reproductive birth rates. You have a reproductive dead end, so two men together can't reproduce unless they have to take from a healthy straight couple. Religion provides this foundation where you do prioritize the nuclear family.
So do you have a problem?
So he thinks, and this is a very common trope amongst the conservatives, especially in America. Okay? Oh, so the flag is when it gets to 11, it's not his turn to talk anymore. The other people in the room are sick of hearing his voice. So when it gets to 11, when it's a majority of people, even a narrow majority, they say, all right, the people in the room have voted, give someone else a chance to speak. So if someone is up there making shit points, the tendency is to vote them off. But sometimes they vote off what was a good discussion. It's not a good system, but it does keep the show moving, and this is the internet. Anyway, his contention is that the failing of the nuclear family and the fact that people are working 2 jobs and people can't afford to have kids and all the rest of it, the reason that he thinks that's happening is because of the decline of religion and the fact that women are allowed to work. At no point does anyone think that the real solution to this is that 2 people don't have to work, which is the case that it was in the past. You could have a house, a family, car, vacations, savings, retirement on one income. On one income. And now they're saying, oh, the problem is a lack of religion. So let me get this straight. You're going to say to working class people in America who earn fuck all because the minimum wage is shit, you're going to say to them, your wife should stay at home. Women, get them out of the workforce. We need more babies. How the fuck are you going to pay for that? You going to raise the wages? I fucking doubt it. If their whole thing was that, and to pay for it, they said, we don't want you to have to work. We're going to raise the wages so that single families can pay for everything. But they would never do that. They would never fucking do that.
With gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem. I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good. Can you give me another justification for it?
That guy who just picked up his flag is gay. He's gay and an insane Trump supporter. Okay? Most of these guys are focused on the trans issue, by the way. That is, and DEI. So they don't understand what DEI is, and they think that trans is taking over the world. That's who these people are. And these are young people. The idea in my head was people Sam Cedar's age will be having these opinions.
I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles?
I mean, if he's saying it just feels good, me having sex with a dude would not feel good. It would feel good for people who were gay, but it wouldn't feel good. Does he want to have sex with a gay guy? Mate, it feels good. What, is this guy going to say, oh yeah, it probably does feel good. I'd probably be fine with it. This is crazy.
Are they
I just
born that
wanted
way?
to show you this bit.
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society has decided.
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
Well,
So he's this is another classic conservative, especially religious conservative point, is, oh, you're going to allow gay people? What about pedophiles? As if a loving consensual relationship is the same as child abuse. That's who these people are. This is who these people are.
I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than.
Okay,
than
so you're okay
preying on
with a
children.
45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well? Incest.
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society has also determined that it's like it's not beneficial.
Right,
for-
there's
Classic
duties and
slippery
obligations
slope.
that we have, so religion provides those duties. Life isn't about
Well, but
freedom
also
and
I can-
exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you want to impose your religious doctrine
No,
on me,
because
and I don't want that.
you just admitted we need duties. We have responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?
What's my argument as to why I don't want
You have no
your
contention.
religion to? Well, because the other, first of all, I don't think that you have the right to corner what God is telling us is right or wrong. And there are differences between religions. And so my argument is, you know, like, you're not going to keep halal or kosher, right? I mean, I don't believe that someone has a corner on religious truth. And the reason why we have a democracy is because we didn't want a king. And the kings came from the
Yes.
idea that their God said that they're the ones who's supposed to be king. And so we can disagree on this. I don't want to live in a country that is ruled by religious fundamentalism.
And if I do, you have no issue with that.
And no. And this is why I say, under Trump, yes, you have won.
Yes.
You have a
Only
bunch
male
of
and
Christian.
female. You're right.
You have a
You
Christian
won.
nationalist,
Yes,
and
which is necessary.
And so I concede the point that under Trump, your Christian nationalism has gained an advantage
Yes.
under this.
Sorry, we're going to
And
have
so
more
I'm-
kids. We're going to have less abortions. We're going to have more family. We're going to have stable family households. Sorry about better
Trans
education.
people, gay people.
So he voted for a guy who said he was going to remove the Department of Education, which they have. They're going to abolish it, right? This guy, these guys are insane. Anyway, if you can stand to watch an hour and a half of this insanity, good luck to you. I couldn't bear it. This girl is the worst.
Run to the workforce.
Maybe we shouldn't allow women to choose to divorce unless their husbands say it's okay.
I mean, I don't really believe in divorce in general, so, like, sure.
All right. I mean, this I think, though, reinforces my point that if you are
But it would be better for society. It would be better for
theocrat, then
everybody
you
in
would be
society.
happy.
And same with xenophobic like, what's the problem with xenophobic nationalism? Don't you think that's better for Americans in general?
To be xenophobic nationalism is better?
We should have a coherent culture. Everyone should be a part of the same culture. We should have assimilation.
That is America right now. She is young. She is happy to go on the internet to be viewed by millions of people saying those things. Fuck me. I ain't fucking going there till this is done. You guys can sort it out yourselves. Good luck. But yeah, it's awful. The thing is, none of the people in that room are going to change their opinion. There's not one thing you could say. Even when it goes to absolute shit, they'll somehow blame the Democrats, and Obama will somehow still be to blame. It's pretty scary times. The internet was a mistake. I'll say that till the day I die. The internet was a massive fucking mistake. We thought this would be the democratization of information, and instead, people figured out real quick how to take the truth and just say, no, that's not true. And as long as you pandered to certain groups, you could increase your message over time, and bingo. You will not beat them. I really don't think you will beat them. Young people, and old people are using technology as pretty much their only source of information. Who controls that? A handful of billionaires. Many of whom were sat behind Donald Trump at the inauguration. I'm sorry. We're fucked. I am not an optimist. I watched a documentary about a miners' strike in, it might have been Kentucky, 1974. And these guys were, if you took this same exact group of people forward to 2024, they would all be Trump voters. And every single one of them would be thinking that unions were bad and were against their interest, and that was communism. In the 70s, you had unions in places like Kentucky. And this is like real redneck people, as you'd call them. Like backwoods folks. What they think of now as like the true America. Were unionists, and they were like, we've got to stop the company, they're fucking everything up. And they did such a good bit of propaganda on them that they all decided, nah, unions are the real problem, not the corporations. It's incredible. It is incredible how bad it went. That's got to go in! Yeah, of course. Of course. But it's like, what can you do? I mean, I use Amazon. I stream on Twitch. What's my alternative? The shops are all fucked. I don't know if you've noticed. Like, I don't have another streaming platform. This is my income. When I'm not working at events, all of which are streamed on Twitch. It's just like... It's just so fucked. I think we're just entering a new era. Everyone's spoken about how essentially democracy is dead, and we now live in a technocracy, and probably increasingly a fairly right-wing one at that. So you're just going to have to deal with it, really. How does it ever change? What platform are you going to use? Truth is dead. So just knuckle down and try to get by in your tiny corner. It's going to be like Blade Runner. Fucking, but with no flying cars, just the smog and death. The AI will turn up and we all think it's going to destroy us by taking over, but it's not going to destroy us by taking over. It's going to destroy us by making the billionaires so rich that there will be like 3 people that own everything, and they will be the government. Threads! Oh man. They showed that on the BBC. It's on iPlayer right now. Apparently that was a big deal because they pulled it years ago, and the guy that wrote it, God, he's got a really weird, I think he's got a blog somewhere where he like talks about his struggles getting Threads onto the BBC and all the lawsuits and everything. It's been a real fucking mess. But yeah. Well, I hope all this stuff is just, you know, flavor of the month or whatever, and then... Like, I think there are 2 ways it could go. Either this goes so poorly, and I know that, like, in Argentina, their economy is, like, fucked because of their idiot in charge, right? And if Trump runs the economy into the ground, I'm genuinely hoping that people will be like woken up and realize, holy shit, we had the wool pulled over our eyes. No, they've already explained that. Alright, they said that they're filming a show about working in a fast food joint. Of course, the employees, you know, they're never gonna suspect anything. Jet Lag the Game? What is that? Is that a show? Never heard of it. Oh. I think it's crazy that, like, it's a thing for companies to be able to say, hey, we pay our workers a decent wage, and everyone's like, oh. What the fuck? I do wonder when the change came in, especially in corporate culture, that said that was an exceptional thing. I feel like people like Henry Ford, no doubt he was an absolute bastard, but he wasn't paying his workers a pittance. Like, his whole thing was he paid his workers enough money that they could afford to buy the cars that they were fucking making, right? I think his saying was to make the best cars you can for the least money you can, paying your workers as much as you can. Ow! Third Reich, Schmerd Reich. Everyone's got their flaws. I mean, you know, Henry Ford may have been a Nazi. Let's have a look. He was born in 1863. Are we surprised about this? He was an anti-Semite. He thought that Jewish internationalism, there's that buzzword again, it's a threat to America. Just to say, This guy was born around the time of the Civil War. American Civil War. He was born halfway through the American Civil War, and we're surprised that he's a racist. No, I think it was... There were a few things. In the 80s, banking, and especially mortgages, was quite dull. And then someone came up with the idea of securitizing mortgages, which made a big change, because it suddenly made the stock market less about safe long-term investments and more about essentially gambling. And then in the 90s, under Clinton, they repealed the Glass-Steagall restrictions on things like commodities trading and some other things that allowed banks to take even more risks. And there is also the fact that a lot of people legally can do awful, awful, awful things for consumers and for people and society and say, hey, it's my legal obligation to maximize shareholder value. So I think that for me, one of the biggest problems is this idea that shareholders are a force for good, right? Because if I invest in a company early on and I keep those shares for 80 years, you have to continually pay me as if I'm a founder of this company, right? Even though all I did was put money in early days. Like they always say, there's that guy, there's a documentary, I think it might have been Adam Curtis, it might be someone else, called The Meek Shall Inherit the Earth. No, The Geeks Shall Inherit the Earth, of course, which is about how with the advent of computers as being like the modern, the thing that runs the world, that these nerds like Bill Gates and Steve Wozniak will become the kings of everything. I mean, Elon's a nerd. Mark Zuckerberg's a nerd. Jeff Bezos is a nerd. They're the three most wealthy men in the Western world. So the geeks shall inherit the earth is the case. Unfortunately, a lot of geeks are also psychotic when it comes to politics. And if you've ever spoken to someone who's a real crazy good programmer and just obsessed with computers, a lot of those people are also fucking insane. What's up, Ashy B? Looking forward to Saturday, mate. So risk does have to pay off, but here's the problem. Is that if you take a risk early in investing, that they then have to value that for the entire duration of that company's existence, right? Like the moment that the company is public, if I buy the share, suddenly it's like I invested. And now the company's entire purpose is about shareholder value. That's the only thing that matters. There's no other morality. There's no concerns for the employees. There's no concerns for decency or morality or even for your country. The shareholders come first. And I think that is a mistake. And I think that is the biggest problem with this final version of capitalism. We fucking lost to Ipswich. I'm fucking gutted. Oh, Mrs. F is currently over South Korea. That plane that's just leaving now is bound for Johannesburg. Damn. In 1918, Henry Ford purchased his hometown newspaper, the Dearborn Independent. A year and a half later, Ford began publishing a series of articles in the paper under his own name, claiming a vast Jewish conspiracy was affecting America. The series ran in 91 issues. Every Ford dealership nationwide was required to carry the paper and distribute it to its customers. Ford later bound the articles into 4 volumes entitled The International Jew, the World's Foremost Problem. Wow. Himmler was a fan. Henry Ford is the only American mentioned favorably in Hitler's autobiography, Mein Kampf. Oh. Wow. Hitler said, speaking in 1931 to a Detroit news reporter, "I regard Henry Ford as my inspiration." And he had a life-size portrait of Henry Ford behind his desk. He modeled the Volkswagen Beetle on the Model T. Wow. In 1938, the German consul in Cleveland gave Ford, on his 75th birthday, the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, the highest medal Nazi Germany could bestow on a foreigner. Holy shit. Oh my god. Well, I knew there was something iffy about Fords. I've never owned one. I mean, the Silver League and all that, you know, this is why you can go fascist America early on if you don't mind the Civil War. In Hoy, I'm talking about Hoy, obviously. Oh, fuck off. Yeah. When you say they didn't know what was going on, what does that mean? And what do you mean fascism was a recent concept? What does that mean? Didn't know what was going on. In Europe? Let's not claim ignorance here. Holocaust was after the war started. The Holocaust didn't happen before the war. In the 1930s leading up to World War II, there was an awful lot of, this Hitler seems like a good guy shit going on in Britain and America. Bruni? My beloved Bruni at West Ham? Say it ain't so. Pietro! He's 32. Look at this. What a signing. Can I just say, I signed Pietro Bruni for £7.75 million, and he put in what looks like 10 seasons at Alaves, producing very good performances, lots of assists. What a fucking player. And then West Ham signed him at 32 for 8.25 million quid. And he's still doing it. That's a Flax signing right there. Yeah, it seems a good idea by racists, I mean. You greedy shit, Vinicius. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Gow, 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 gow. Oh! No. Whew. There's the ball! God, he acted like he didn't know it was there. Go on, Hazard. Yes. Send it. Ah! Marconi plays the bongos. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Cha-cha-cha-cha. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. Built the city. And built this city on rock and roll. Oh, I need to lose so bad. I want to see how this game ends. That's a disaster. Yep. Enjoy making your fucking hundreds of thousands a year, you corpo bitch. Oh, that sucks. Gosh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's that must have been tough. Yeah, it was. It was really fucking tough. Almost killed me. Yeah, that's bad. Unbelievable. Oh my god. By the way, for my birthday, Mrs. F got me, because I've been doing running, and I found that my headphones kept falling out. These things, I'll show them to you. Hold on, I'll go full camera. Have you ever seen these? They don't go in your ear. Look at this. You put them on your fat head like that, and they rest there, and the sound just goes into your brain. It's fucking crazy. Like, super comfy. So to give you some idea, it's barely like it's the gentlest resting on your head. Like it's way less uncomfortable than having those fucking headphones stuffed into your ear holes. It's crazy. And I was like, this can't actually be like a thing. You know what I mean? Like this is it's a thing. It is not, in terms of sound quality, I wouldn't listen to them if I wanted to like listen to music. But if you are doing something active, it's the only way. In my opinion. Like, if I was going on a train journey, I would just wear headphones. But if you're doing anything active, yeah, you can still hear, because it's like you can hear people, you can hear things. So it doesn't affect your hearing. It's just like you have to make sure that you're not ignoring the sounds around you, because of course it would be easy. You're kind of in your own world, but the sounds are there, and the audio comes in. I don't know how to describe it. It's in the center of your brain. So imagine if you put them on. They're very comfortable. It's like this soft, sort of rubbery material that you gently put it over your ears. It doesn't feel clampy. It just rests. It barely needs to touch your head, and it just vibrate. The sound vibration goes into the bones on the side of your head, and you hear it in the center of your brain. It's crazy, and it doesn't have much sound. What do they call it? The sort of it doesn't broadcast. Do you know what I mean? So you're sitting there listening to something, and you're not bothering people around. It's nuts. And really good for like if you're running or something like that, because it stays on your head because it's rubberized. So it just sticks to your head, but not in an uncomfortable way. I can't describe it. I found them excellent. Sound bleed, exactly. Sound bleed. That's like barely there. Jesus Christ. Dude, these tariffs are crazy. All European exports to the US face a 20% tariff. He said that the EU charges America 39% in tariffs? 10% on all UK goods. What on earth? Cane's sweet tea, $3.99 a gallon. Tell me people ain't buying a gallon of sweet tea. What in the world? No. No. This is America, bud. They get paid $10 an hour. They get 10 days holiday and no staff discount. You don't like it? Get a job somewhere else. I genuinely think these companies hate their employees. Like, I actually think they hate them. Like, the fact that they have to pay people at all sticks in their craw. Yes, Yatesy. Who is Alfie Marsh? Whoa! I mean, alright, let's look at this goal. He didn't mean this. He did not mean that. There's no way. Who the fuck is this 18-year-old kid that I picked? Scored against Inter.
Faklerauker just resolved for 4 months.
Grazie. As far as I'm concerned, if you are working in a restaurant, they should give you a fucking meal. What the fuck? Did I accidentally pick full rotation or something? What's happening here? Is everyone just exhausted? %. What the fuck is wrong with these companies here? I'm assuming if I ran a company, they would go bust because there's no way apparently you can make money without fucking over your, not only your employees, but the customers too. What to say? That's what I'm saying, Bob. Is that this idea that it's a legal requirement is bullshit. God damn. We really just have children out here. What's happening? Unlimited vacation and 100% free healthcare for them and their entire family. That can't be the case. Unlimited vacation. you mean? So anyone that works for you can take as long off as they like. I mean, I'm self-employed, so technically I can take as much time off as I like. Wait, so Fraggle Rorca, are you saying you're self-employed as well? You're not self-employed. So you have a company, you have employees, and they get 100%, like, they can take the entire year off if they so desire it, and all their health care is covered. But wait, are you an American? You can't be American. Yeah, Ascenta's like, any openings? Well, you know what? If that's the company you're running, I say hats off to you. I will also say it must be a small company. Because if you had people working for you and it was a small company and there was a relationship between you and the people you employed where it was like, almost like a family thing, then that's like, I mean, that's the ideal. Where you go into work somewhere, I really think it's what most people crave. You go into work somewhere, and you turn up and you're like, I'm sorry I'm late. Like, don't worry about it. You put in your shift, and if you're not contributing, it'll stand out. And it won't just be the bosses saying, you're not paying you're not putting in. This is why I think profit sharing is such a big thing in companies. Not to have the staff police themselves, but because if you motivate someone by saying you have to take this job, and it pays the absolute bare minimum, and it's going to be shit, but we know you're stuck here, and because the situation is so bad, we know that you and no one else has a fucking choice. So just deal with that. Like if I worked for a company or I owned a company, had like 5 to 10 employees, yeah, Hank Scorpio springs to mind. 5 to 10 employees, I knew them all. The company was like 5 years old. Bunch of them had been from the start. The people we brought in were lovely. Like, it was just like this real, I'd go into the office every day. I'd want to go in just to see everybody. If that was the kind of business I was running, and we were having fun, and everybody was getting paid, and it was all good, that would be heaven. To look after people and say like, hey guys, we made a ton of money this year. Everyone's getting a $5,000 Christmas bonus. That would be brilliant to be able to do that. That would be fucking brilliant. What, if I may ask, what industry is your business in? Just vague industry. Fraggle Walker, I genuinely hope this is all true. Insurance. Well, you're going to hell anyway then. People are terrible. Well, somehow we beat Inter 4-1 with our youth team, which I don't fully understand, but, you know, we did it. Where's that going? Who wants to guess where that's going? Down? No, God, don't think about that. Nope. None of you are even close. It's not in Europe. Although in some instances it is. And remember, we're looking for cities. So remembering that the clue was, it's not in Europe, but in some instances it is. It's not a great clue, but it is also a helpful clue. Just a city. It doesn't need to be a specific airport. Sydney is spelled with a Y, not an I, Dr. Nick. Come on now. Okay. Alright, lads, you looked it up. You looked it up, two of you. At least one of you did. At least you just happened on Tel Aviv out of nowhere. And if the clue was, oh, I thought it was Israel, you're not going for Jerusalem or something like that, you're just going to go for fucking Tel Aviv out of nowhere? Yeah, bullshit. Fucking cheats. Eurovision, indeed. I just find it funny that you went for Tel Aviv. Yes, Hazard. Get in there, son. Good ball. Zare! Go! Go! I fucking love Hazard. This lad is amazing. We need a left back this good. What a ball! Crossing 15 for a right back. He's only 22. It's only sometimes in Europe because when Eurovision is on, Israel counts as in Europe, as does Australia. So they are both allowed to enter, despite not being in Europe. And it's called Eurovision. I mean, their dream is to do Worldovision or Globovision, and South America, North America, Russia, all the way out to China. Actually, Russia already gets to enter. China, India, like Globovision would be fucking mass. And I would love to hear the entries from, what is the entry from Bolivia this year? You know what I mean? Go! Woo. Is it? I don't know, maybe it is. What? For what? Go on, Zay. Ref! These fucking Brentford animals. Do you know what I think it is? Alright? And bear with me here. Is that most European countries don't have that big a population difference compared to the difference between Ireland, which has won multiple Eurovisions, and China, who will only ever vote for China. So that China would win Globovision every single year. It would be them and India. India would catch up. No, that's my whole point, is that Globovision would be dominated essentially by the phone votes from two countries. In terms of the amount of money you're making now, it's almost tempting to start a rival Eurovision called Globovision. And it's like every single country in the world gets to compete. And you don't even have to have English and French. You can get rid of French. Didn't say China in the Trump voice. We're gonna call it Globovision. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be the greatest song contest there ever was. A lot of people are saying it shouldn't happen, but we're gonna reach out to China and Vladimir Putin in Russia. And we're going to have Globovision. It's going to be incredible. Trump Vision, we were going to call it. Trump Vision. Oh, here's a message. Your views are going down. This is on the most recent Triforce. Your views are going down because of Pyrian and his constant political insertions. I grew up on Yogs. I voted for Trump. Talk about games and weirdness. If he's a cuck for other countries' wars, that's fine. But I'm not here for politics. It does annoy me when people like that have been enjoying the podcast. What can you say? I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion. An opinion is one thing. When your opinion involves people getting deported or made illegal, you can go fuck yourself. That's not an opinion. That's not just, well, everyone's entitled. Because your opinion has a direct negative effect on an awful lot of people and their liberty. So, fuck you. Fuck you. If you don't want to listen to the podcast anymore because of me, I am very glad about that. Goodbye. Go listen to Joe Rogan and those guys and Charlie Kirk and Shapiro. How we fall into the same fucking group upsets me. Because I don't want you fucking listening. If you are some fucking massive far-right Trump voter, please stop listening. Please. Please. I'm going to give you a negative shout-out every fucking week. I didn't, Dr. Ritz, and I'll tell you why. My kids don't like Marmite. It's only Mrs. F, and I wouldn't say I loved it. Like, I didn't love it. And the weird thing is, even though I definitely enjoyed it and was like, I would 100% eat this again, I have not sought it out since. And whilst I could make some Marmite wings, and I should just do like a couple. Not just do, I'll do half Marmite and half regular. Because if it's terrible or we don't like it, we can bin it off. It's only 2 wings. So I can make 2. And me and Mrs. F can be like, oh my god. And then maybe, you know, the kids could try them. And then maybe we put some Marmite on some wings. But as a gamble, look, I'm a dinner cooking dad. And when the kids are like, didn't really enjoy that. Oh, it's like a dagger through my heart. Every time. So I hate it when they're like, oh no, no, that's not good. That makes me sad. Mikhailov? Daniel Clay is a little tired. He is also a little tired. We can bring, no, he is attacking midfielder. You want something like a Lebrun. Put Lebrun. Put Lebrun in for Mikhailov. Yes, it's very simple. Very simple. Sakaguchi, probably better playmaker. And then Lebrun, who's, yeah, he gets up and down. He's okay. He's okay. Perkins. Horatio Perkins. Sorry, Henrico Perkins. Henrico, I need you. Beto's a little tired. I want you to jump in, play football. Don't let in 3 goals, please. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think because I've literally spent 48 years not liking Marmite, the fact that it's now come up means that when I'm making toast, it doesn't pop into my head. But honestly, thanks for the reminder, because I do want to have some again and be like, was it just the fact I was a little drunk that I liked it, or is it good? Do you reckon the Marmite people like the fact that there's a saying that basically says, it's kind of a Marmite thing. You'll either like it or you'll hate it. Because I'm sure they wouldn't mind just being something that people do, yeah, it's alright. Or they're just happy that their brand is a fucking saying. I think you'd be happy about that, wouldn't you? She's about to land. I've never had Vegemite because I am not in Australia. I live in England. Can't be losing to fucking Ipswich. God, look how close it is. There's only 5 points between first and fucking 6th. What the fuck are you lads doing? Oh. What a fucking disaster. On an unemployed career, how often do you receive offers from other clubs? Let me look. So if you look at my profile, this is a trap. This is a journeyman save, because I've been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clubs. This is my 9th club. So I started in Notts County, and I was fired, and I found a job that season. I would just say I generally just let it go, and someone will come for you. We waited a decent amount of time. Look what they lost at Notts County. Look at this. I won the Carabao Cup, the UEFA Cup, and the Premier League last year, and we won the English Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup this season. And in previously, I've won the German Super Cup, the Bundesliga and the German Super Cup, the Bundesliga and the Pokal, the Bundesliga and the Pokal, the Bundesliga and the Pokal. Right? Prior to that, I won 2 championships in Sweden and the Israeli State Cup. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the best manager of all time. I'm clearly not. I'm just saying that if you looked at this career, this is the Roy Hodgson of careers. Started off in England, went abroad, and then they were like, you know what? This guy knows some stuff. If Bayern Munich finished first 4 times, won the Bundesliga 4 times in a row, they wouldn't manage that without me. It all adds to the reputation. I've won titles. Came to Bournemouth, 13th, 9th, and I left when they were 15th. This is fine. Their whole point was stay in the league. Did that, delivered. Spurs were like, we love what you've done. You've got a great reputation. You proved yourself in the Premier League with a very small market team. Come and manage us. And I said, no problem. I'll win you the fucking league. And we did. And we're in the Champions League. But it is trouble. Toby Yates. I'll just say, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, Toby. I felt you had been playing. The issue was, as far as I understood, you were fucking knackered, son. Be less tired, brother. So the setup is that they tell them this is just a show about someone who doesn't know how to work in fast food, working in fast food. Now, I get it. People will be like, oh, God, who would believe that? I can imagine people believing it. Genuinely. Because, come on. I mean, you know, come on. You could imagine that being a show. Toby, mate, I want you to play every game, brother. Good luck, Eris, brother. Good fucking luck. Oh, there was the ball, you pussy. Yates to Vinny, the classic combo. Yeah, I got you there. Elon Musk, an undercover boss. Elon is like, well, the thing is, it's like I've watched him talk. I saw his thing about how mean it is that people are happy that Tesla isn't doing well. Well, what an evil man. What a horrible guy. I'm sorry, he called someone a pedo for not wanting his submarine, so horrible guy. But he stammers a lot. He spends a lot of time saying very little. And I understand, I know one of the excuses, I believe he's autistic. But, that doesn't mean he has to be evil. I mean, he is evil, but he's not evil because he's autistic. Oh! There she is! She's landed! Two weeks. I don't, you know, the weird thing is I go away for work all the time. But being at home and my wife not being here, 2 weeks is almost unheard of. I'm trying to think the last time it happened. I can't even think of it. I miss her. I miss her already. It's been less than a day. Oh, who knows? I hope he goes broke. I mean, it's never going to happen. But wouldn't it be amazing? If like, Twitter went fucking belly up, Tesla went belly up. Oh. It would be amazing. You throw the biggest fit. And then, he had the gall to say, how dare he celebrate my share price going down, because so-and-so pension fund is in that, and oh gosh, isn't that awful that he would do that. This is a guy who will just randomly move stock prices by fucking tweeting. But when he does it, it's adorable. But when anyone else says something about stock prices, how dare they? How dare they? That's so evil. Fuck off. Yeah. Just a fucking. I mean, it's just insane. There's not even any point arguing with it. That's a wild time. That loss to West Ham. Sorry, I mean to Ipswich. We also lost to West Ham. So they have a 1-point lead, and if they win their game in hand, it'll be a 4-point lead. So the top of the table is West Ham, Spurs, Arsenal, Brighton. Villa are 16th, Chelsea are 13th, Man U are 10th, Newcastle are 8th, Liverpool is 6th, Man City are 4th. Where have Man City finished? Competitions. They finished, let's go back to the beginning here. First, second, third, first, fourth, third, second, third, sixth, 10th, 7th, 10th, 5th. Wow.
So who comes tonight?
About 135 to 140 people.
That's a good amount of people. Would you like some beans? Alrighty.
This is the highlight.
I mean, opening some kind of a super. I know other parents in my area who work for charities and stuff like that. I think when I'm older and I'm sort of like not working anymore and just retired, doing this volunteer stuff, people think it's just a bunch of old biddies, but it would really be important, I think, to help in some super minor way to improve one person's day a tiny bit. That's all it is. You're not changing the world. No one person can do that unless they're doing it in a horrible, horrible way. But what you can do is do your part, right? Help out a little bit.
Of the church. Everybody loves my cooking.
Everybody! Hey, if we were doing Gordon Ramsay, everyone loves our food. Wait, what's his problem? Simon Wynn. You want to what? A highly influential player in the squad? What? Wait, what's his beef? I feel as though I need my Greek playing time sticking to. Cool, thank God. It's the weirdest interaction. If they come to you and say, I don't think I'm playing enough, and they're like young or old, and you kind of gave them a playing time status that wasn't great, you just say, I think you just need to accept that I'm going to have to use you occasionally. And they're like, cool, thanks. Here's what you do. You buy a bicycle. And you have $9,500 left over. Don't buy a car in America.
God is going all kind of directions. All kind of directions.
I've seen that guy. Caleb Hammer. He's a prick. But he's right. I saw one today. This couple were on there. And they were earning reasonable money for a young couple. But he was like, wait, let me get this straight. You have $30,000 of credit card debt. Yeah, but I pay the minimum every month. He's like, right, but this debt is going to be with you forever. And there was this girl who was running up all this fucking money, just blowing it. And then in debt to help cover this lifestyle. And she was like, I'll worry about all that in my 30s. She goes, if I go broke or I run out of money, I'll just draw out of my 401k. It's like, this is a generation with no financial knowledge whatsoever. And he's cherry picking them, of course. But it feels like there's a concerning amount where people grew up with the idea of just get it on credit. In the 80s, that was a big new thing. The idea that you could just get it on the credit card. And it caused this huge consumer burst in credit. And everybody fucking bought everything they could. And it was the 80s was super rich. And everyone's like, man, it was so good in the 80s. Yeah, it was like a combination of a lot of factors all at the same time that made money in that moment. But kind of fucked everybody. Damn, my boys are exhausted. I mean, yeah, it was. Like, it was cheaper because it was new. And I'm not saying it was like a teaser rate, but it was certainly, in order to prosper as a concept of you could just get it on a credit card. It can't be expensive, right? But yeah, the 80s, I mean, I know loads of people who bought houses in the 80s. Because my friends' parents and all that. And they move all the time. They're like, we wanted a garden, so we moved blah, and we lived there for a couple of years, then we moved. I'm like, really? You just kept moving? Like, yeah, we just fancy. And it wasn't like they had to wait a few years for the value to go up. They sold their house, they bought another, maybe a grand here or there. It's like, what, you just fucking... You lived somewhere for 2 years and then you moved? It was so easy. You could get a house for under 100k in the 80s. You could get a house for under 100k in the 90s. I mean, here's a true fact. This is 2000, the year 2000. Me and Mrs. F have finished university. We're back in Bournemouth. We've got a flat in Bournemouth. It's a really nice big flat. 2-bedroom, old, like, really well built, not some fucking new build shit. Big garden out the back. It's a shared garden. Most of the other people living around you are just old people. They make no noise. They're lovely. You could help them out. You'd be the best neighbor ever. And the landlord said to us, I'm looking to sell the flat. This was 2000, and this is in a nice part of Bournemouth that nowadays this flat would be worth a bunch of money. He said to me, 70 grand. And we were like, oh, I'm sorry, there's just no way we can do it. I don't know how we didn't jump at it. Or even just say to one of the parents, I know this is not a house you're going to live in, but this is an incredible deal. Do you know the saddest thing? Yeah, it's probably worth like $250, easy, for a fucking flat. It's ridiculous to say, but the property costs in Bournemouth, you'd think it was on the tube line. Like, it's insane. Brighton, Bournemouth, I'm sure Reading is suffering from it. Anywhere with a reasonable commute to London, the price has just gone up. It's nuts. Oh, nice. Mad, isn't it? Like, this is something that, and if you're as old as me, your boomer relatives do. They're like, paid off my mortgage, made the last payment. And you're like, wow, cool. That must have been a lot of money. Like, oh, it was like £125. You're like, so you're celebrating the fact that you made the final payment on a 25-year mortgage, and that entire time it was basically the cost of a family of four's grocery shopping every week, if they're not on a big budget. You know what I mean? It's wild. Yeah, Jimmy. It's almost like we destroyed all the other parts of the country where they were making things and having jobs in favor of turning everyone into a call center without anticipating the fact that, you know what? Other countries can learn English and then they can do that job. And now we're reaching the point where, oh, by the way, a fucking computer can do that job. It's pretty scary. Lads, that was shit. Oh god, renting. Oof. Do you know, I rented, this is back when, very early 2000, like 2002, I think 2002 at the latest. Halfway between 2002 2003, and our lease was coming up, and I think it must have been the end of 2002. Anyway, that's a real old person reaching for a detail that isn't important. Either way, me and Mrs. F were living in Wimbledon, and then we moved up to London, and we rented in Wimbledon Park, which is a very nice area. And the rent there for a one-bed flat at the top of the house, it was a loft conversion into an apartment, and we were there for a year. It was fine. It was a really nice area. We were paying, I think, something like £700, maybe £750 a month for a a nice little apartment in Wimbledon Park. And then we were like, let's move to, I want to move nearer to like Richmond. Because we loved Richmond. I'd worked there for a year. And we always liked going to Richmond. It's beautiful. Richmond's beautiful. And we had family in the area as well. So I found a flat for £1,000 a month. It was a 2-bedroom flat with a parking space, big rooms, a balcony, and like everything. Like that was everything. £1,000 a month. If you think that you could get a flat within a 2-minute walk of Richmond Bridge for £1,000 a month now, like at the time we were like, God, this is going to be a stretch. Can we manage this? I was like, I mean, it's such a nice area. We should do it. Our lease is up. We'll be near our family, and we went to them quite often. It's like from that, we went from there to buying a house. Wait, what was the question? What part of Bournemouth? Our flat was, I don't know how well you know Bournemouth, so, but I'll describe it to you. I'm sure if you're asking, I'll give you. You know the Frizzell roundabout? If you stop me if you don't know the Frizzell roundabout. Yeah, it's crazy. The rent now is crazy. No. I'll show you. Let me bring up maps. Hold on a sec. So, here's Westbourne, Pool Road. That is the Frizzell roundabout, where it's now Liverpool Victoria. But anyone in Bournemouth over the age of like 35 probably knows it as the Frizzell roundabout, because the Liverpool Victoria used to be called Frizzell, or was it that they subsumed them or overtook them or whatever the fuck it is? Either way. So when they built this Tesco's been here for about 20 odd years. We were in this block of flats, and our flat was that one. Now, this is a nice part of Bournemouth. You've got a supermarket over the road, fantastic. And you've got Westbourne is a short walk away, and this is a nice part of Bournemouth because it's like very chill. It's very middle class. You got a lot of old money there in a weird way because there's a lot of older people there. Mungo Jerry lives in Westbourne, for example. I'm not saying he's a huge star, but it's like it's the frou-frou, one of the more frou-frou parts of Bournemouth. So my mum lives in Westbourne, and we got found somewhere in Lindsay Road. Me and Mrs. F were both working at LV, so our commute was 5-minute walk. My mum was a 10-minute walk. My sister was going to live in Bournemouth, and it's easy to get in and out of the town centre. We were genuinely really thinking about staying in Bournemouth. I've heard some worrying rumours that you don't consider me capable of chatting for regular police. Damn. I mean, we just I think that the UK has a couple of problems when it comes to housing, which is without the green belts, people will feel like we are destroying the very small amount of truly natural Britain that's left, because most of it is farmland, isn't it? Like, that's a huge percentage of our countryside. So wait, UK land by usage. So 63%. Okay, in England, 23.5 million acres, or 63% of our entire land mass, is agriculture. So pretty much 2/3 of the land is given to that. 20% is given to forestry, open land, and water. And then 3.25 million acres are developed, with 1.8 million acres, so 4.9%, as gardens. There are 1.3 million acres dedicated to grouse moors, of a total of 2.6 million acres across the UK. And 700,000 acres. 1.8% of our landmass is allocated to golf courses. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot of farmland. And if we're talking about building, they set up something called the Green Belt, which meant the cities were not just city farmland. Because that's like, it's the city or owned land. So you wanted some open spaces that were like parks, wild, where people could just be in nature. Because I know if you're 18, you think that's boring. But when you are 48, you think, oh my God, let's go for a beautiful walk in a lovely forest. And that's like tranquility. Absolute tranquility. So without forests and greenbelt areas, what we're saying is we just absolutely have to have more housing, even if we're losing the natural world in Britain that isn't farmed. And I think that obviously that's something to massively worry about, but there are solutions. We're just sort of not embracing them, and I think in the favour of progress. So as much as I would love for the housing problem to be solved, I'll be honest with you, I think the solution is to build up rather than out. So many other major countries in the world have tower blocks that people happily live in, and we're like, nah, which is bizarre. Everybody wants to live in a house. That's been somehow our thing for some time. So I see people building, turning old houses into flats and stuff. But what I'm thinking is, they're building all these huge blocks of apartments in like Docklands and stuff, but they're almost all luxury apartments. Because they know that huge multi-billion-pound banks and businesses will buy those apartments just to use for the company, and overseas investors will buy them and sit on them as an asset, knowing that the value is going to go up because it's London and it's property. So between that, then you've got a handful of people who actually buy an actual flat to live in these places. Hold on. There's no, like, it's not snobbishness. I'll be honest with you. If you are of a certain generation, and I'm talking my parents' generation, and then passing that down to their kids. So let's go Boomers, Gen X, And we're like the most likely to be like a parent these days, right? Like most of the mums and dads you guys know are probably my age or around there. What were we fucking talking about? I'm a bit drunk and a bit high. Remind me. It's gone. Boomers. Oh yeah, the snobbishness. So, if you imagine that idea that tower blocks are bad was handed down, where did it come from? It came from the fact that in the 50s and 60s, post-war, we built these concrete monstrosities all over Britain to just stuff people into, because we had this baby boom and we needed housing and a bunch of shit had been bombed. So concrete, tower blocks. And the brutalist architecture that resulted from that era is why we have genuinely some of the ugliest tower blocks and apartment buildings in Europe, nay, the world. I mean, yeah, I think, like, let me show you, I'll show you a picture in a sec. Let me just do this real quick. Offside. Ref! Well done, lads. One sec. So. I want to show you something. This is Ålesund in Norway, which means eel sound. It is a UNESCO heritage site in parts of it, because there is a what is it called? Art Deco high street in the middle of Ålesund, which is beautiful, and they wanted to preserve it because it's a example. It's not this, but it's like it's like in here somewhere. Anyway, so this is a building in Ålesund, if you can believe it. So look at this, and look at all these pictures that sort of, Oh, I can't see that massive brutalist structure you guys have got. Kind of clipped it out. Oh yeah, Austin's beautiful. Bam! And this is right at the dock. So we did a tour of Ålesund when we went on the Hurtigruten, which is a boat that goes up from where does it start from? We flew into... It wasn't Stavanger. It was Oslo. Or was it Bergen? Because we flew out of Oslo. Well, maybe we did fly to Oslo. Either way, got on the boat. It's Norway, if you haven't seen it, the fjords, it is absolutely stunning. And although the Hurtigruten is kind of a touristy vibe, where there's a boat, it's got a hot tub, it's got a pool, you can do the hot tub pool thing if you want. There's a lot of Europeans, you know. It starts in, I believe, Oslo. It chug, and it goes round. It's like a little mini cruise ship. And you go all the way up the west coast of Norway, and it stops at various ports, and some people go off and some people get on, and it'll go all the way up to the sort of North Circle, and you'll hopefully see the Northern Lights. And then you fly back from there to Oslo, and from Oslo to wherever. And it was beautiful. So this building, which popped up on our tour, we were like, the tour guide. This is at the end of the tour, and this is after you've seen all of this beautiful fucking Lego megacity architecture, where it's just like, if someone built this in the city skylines, people would be like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. And this just happened, right? This was just human beings. So Norway is beautiful. And look at that fucking Middle Earth shit. And you'll go along and there'll be a spike out of the ground. Okay, a huge spike of just rock. You think, look at that. And then you look closer and there's all houses around the bottom. That's what the west coast of Norway is like. These people live right fucking there. It's nuts. It's crazy. But the guy, the tour guide, he says to us, we finished here for a reason. He says, you've seen all this. It's beautiful. Obviously, you've seen the architecture, the UNESCO stuff. Why have we preserved this building? And we were like, I don't know, some fucking council restriction, or it's a private business. He goes, no. The reason is that we might think this is ugly now, but what if in 200 years the people of the future look back and say, oh my god, I love that old-fashioned architecture. And I know that's just a thing that a tour guide has said, but it really fucking made me think about, like, the things we value as history. It's not like people in the 17th century were looking at their architecture and saying, I love this modern architecture. I'm sure some of them were saying, I just love the old architecture. Nowadays it's all this fancy shit. I mean, it's like people are always going to pine for the past. But there is genuinely, for me, an innate charm to a lot of that sort of Scandinavian style architecture, old English architecture. Hold on. Wattle and daub, exactly. Anyway, I'm going to pop to the loo. We've got a bit of time. forgot I was still streaming. Offside. Fuck off. Kinsale. Where's Kinsale? Wait. Ireland? I thought Ireland would be all old cottages and beautiful, or is it just like the UK where it's fucking houses with pebble dash, just fucking stacks of them? You know, I would have rather, in our desperation to build houses after World War II, we built some wooden houses while we worked on the good ones. Just a fucking igloo or something. I mean, Jesus. Go on, Yatesy. Oh, shit. I thought it was something to watch on YouTube and I fucking forgot what it was. Yeah, we were very poor after the war. People forget that. I think when it comes to things like, oh, British food is so bad. We were rationing for some time after the war. And, you know, post-empire, winding down as this big imperial power, yeah, we were fucking... It was rough for Britain. The standard of living was pretty bad. It wasn't as bad as it was in Victorian times, but by American standards, where everyone had this huge fucking house and garden and had meat very cheaply and all this money, I mean, it was like... It was insane. Because I know when the Yanks came over... I don't know, this is an interesting thing. I don't know how many people would want to watch this. We've been losing viewers steadily as I've been rambling and showing old vids, but just watch this US film for World War II. No.
A Welcome to Britain was created in 1943. It was a...
I'm speaking for the entire British...
I've seen this a million times. I know it's here. Come on. Here we go. Cheerio. There's a word you don't fucking hear people say anymore. Cheerio, duck. Actually, maybe hear it in some parts of the country. Here in London, we just go, "Our blood's safe." That's what we do. Don't like alcohol. Did you have one bad experience, Monsieur Duck? I ain't playing Dave fucking Z. Fuck that. Oy vey. I don't even like alcohol. So you meant as a child you didn't like alcohol? No, I think that's pretty normal, in all honesty. Wow. I sent a message to Mrs. F on WhatsApp because she's just landed in Japan, and her response to my message was not just a heart, it was a heart with a little sparkle. Ah! Brilliant! How would you know if you like alcohol as a child? Well, I'll be honest with you. Depends on how fucked up your parents get. Yes! So, first of all, my parents are boomers who lived in New York in the 80s. So we lived in Flushing until 1979, and then we moved to Queens. Not Queens, sorry, Jackson Heights. Flushing is in Queens, isn't it? We moved to Jackson Heights, and it was a better neighborhood. My parents went out a lot. A lot. Way more than me and Mrs. F do. Like, it was pretty much every week we had a babysitter. Like, it was like Saturdays. Fridays or Saturdays, babysitter. And I remember, I mean, the weird thing is, one of my best, closest, oldest friends, she still lives in New York. Her brother, who was older than both of us, was my babysitter. And I hadn't seen him in probably over 20 years, easily. Went to New York a few years back and saw him. I couldn't believe it. When you haven't been like home in a very long time, like I haven't lived in New York for over 40 years, but I still consider it one of my cities. Like, I consider myself as much a New Yorker as I do a London. And I was born in London. Oh, shit! Yeah. Come on, lads. Oh. Oh! I mean, I started smoking when I was 15. I started drinking when I was 16, 17. I played D&D and board games. I was a nerd. All my friends were nerds. But some of my mates had cool houses and parents who went away for the weekend and left their 15, 16-year-old child in charge. It was the 90s, you know, that's the way parents parented back then. So they'd go away for the weekend, and my mate who had a massive house would be like, we're having a fucking party. And I'd get over there, and we would drink and smoke weed and smoke cigarettes, and we thought we were the fucking coolest. Also, you get to know the pubs or bars in your town that have extremely dodgy owners who understand that they're going to get caught but fucking sell booze to anybody. So there was this one place in Bournemouth, if anyone lives in Bournemouth, it was a bar underneath the Roundhouse Hotel, believe it or not. And you could go in there, and it was called Mr. Might have been Mr. Smith's, I can't remember. Mr. Smith sounds about right. And it was like a bar with loads of seats, and this is the 90s. You could smoke in there, and you could get a pint for like £2, and there was no IDing whatsoever, and we would all turn up there and get fucked up on like 2 pints and smoke weed and stuff, and it was like, it was fucking great, you know. I fucking loved it, man. What was my point? I don't know. Imagine something like this going out nowadays. Where you're like, you're about to be deployed to so-and-so. Just crazy. Here's how to be culturally sensitive. I'm coming to that, Loco, but that is a great part. Very interesting that that was like seen as like okay in an army movie, but then it was another 20 years before the idea of segregation vanished. Like they were literally just saying, look, just get along for the next couple of years. We never score penalties. Yes! Evelyn Mikhailov with the goal. If you guys are American, you don't know that steak for breakfast is a thing? I've been to loads of places where steak has been on the menu for the breakfast menu. I think back then in America it was probably all well done. People didn't... I mean, in the UK, I'm sure we were the same. In Germany, I'm sure they were the same. Ugh! Bin men in the 70s. BBC archive on bin men in the 70s. This sounds right up my alley. BBC bin men 70s. 1970, The Life of Dustman?
Harris, the foreman, has been doing the job for 10 years. Les, an ex-window fitter and the youngest at 32, 2 years a dustman. Jock, 12 years, and likes the job. Joe, ex-British Rail, 3 years in the job. Ted, 10 years service.
Good old
Average for
Ted.
the crew, 7.5 years service. But what are the problems of the job?
This is the thing we've got to put up with, you know. So we can expect us to do with this, like. It's not uncommon.
Not uncommon.
It's not uncommon. We get it pretty often, like. No dustbins. We expect us to pick it up.
Do you find that you get this kind of mess in necessarily depressed areas or anywhere?
No, not really, not all the time. No, sometimes in the good areas it's supposed to be good. Class areas we get a lot of that, I know. It's just laziness, I reckon. People just thinking it out. They just say, ah, well, put it in the floor. They won't get dustbins. The landlord won't buy dustbins. All he wants is the rent. They never mind the dustbins, like, you know.
From the time I've been on the dust, the dustbin jobs has definitely changed.
On the dust.
In so much as there's not so much dust now, but...
So, this was 55 years ago. And when I was a kid, a conscious child who was aware of things, 55 years ago would have been 1939? $1929 maybe. I think my maths is bad. Either way, a long fucking time ago. But, I mean, this is just like... This lad's been doing this for 10 years.
You've got all these non-returnables like
Well, I can
beer
just
bottles
imagine,
and packets and that, you know, where people used to burn their rubbish before, where they're not burning it now, they're just putting it in the bin, and the general public's
Amen,
not getting
Ossie.
the extra bin
Amen,
to
Ossie.
put the rubbish in.
Look at that bin!
This makes our job heavier and also
harder,
bulkier.
Bulkier.
Oh, you got the bottom falling out there.
Yeah, well, that's typical of the bins, especially around here, yeah.
Well, how considerate do you find people, or inconsiderate, about their rubbish?
Well, they just don't worry about their bins. They just say it's up to the landlord, not me. They go, oh, there we go.
That's a lot. Do you get fed up ever?
Yes, I do, stay.
The men started their work this morning in the Notting Hill area at 7 o'clock. It's now about 9:30, and time for the dump, the first dump of the day. The sellers reckon that £234 a year.
Well, I don't get it because.
And breakfast usually means steak, chips, tomatoes, a slice of bread, a cup of tea, and a natter.
Steak in the UK for breakfast in 1970. Wow, good fucking call.
And breakfast usually means steak, chips, tomatoes, a slice of bread, a cup of tea, and a natter. Cost of the breakfast, 5 and 6. Thus fortified with beef and tea, it's back to work and another couple of hours to the second and final dump of the day.
Dump?
Some folk might look down on the dustman's job, the scavengers of society, and that kind of thing. But how do they see the job?
We can't all be ignorant. Well, if anybody thinks a dustman's ignorant, they're looking at themselves before they look at a dustman. Because I don't class though I'm a dustman, I don't class myself as ignorant by a long way.
The foreman, Harry, sets the pace as to when they finish. But it's usually about 1 p.m.
Not really. I mean, if you like
This job, I mean, you know, do you think he should have been more ambitious?
well, not really. I mean, if he likes the job, I should think they should stick to it. I mean, he's got to do a job he likes.
But do you reckon really it's quite a skilled job?
Well, it's not skilled.
That kid's not much older than me now. That's how fucking old I am. That this kid, who's probably 4 or 5, is not that much older than me.
But it's a job that's got to be done. Someone's got to do it. It is
someone's
it is an industry.
Well, Les, you may be doing a valuable job for the community, but is it a job you can actually like?
Oh yes, of course it is. I wouldn't change my job for anything.
What about £1 billion?
Sorry.
Is that not a thing in other countries? Weetree, listen to me. Canada and the UK, in my opinion, as a half Canadian, Canada and the UK have more in common than Canada and the US. I believe that. Culturally, I'd say. Not true these days? Oh, man. What do you fucking live in Thunder Bay or something? By the way, I don't mean in terms of like the media you consume or the shops you've got, because we've got those too. But the instinct to be a bit more neighborly, offside. The instinct to say sorry, the kind of laid back, more humorous outlook on things, I think, and silently dealing with terrible weather. Talking about it, but not grumbling about it. Just being like, cold today, yeah? Oh, yeah, cold today. You live in the Maritimes. I don't know what that means. The Maritimes. Eastern Canada, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Oh, you're very far east. Interesting. I wonder if it must be quite rural there, no? But I thought the veterans that they had talking about it were perfect. Because every single one of them admitted that they were fooled into thinking this was some noble endeavor. And they were like, talked about what it was like being there. My favorite is the guy who talks about how he said he only killed one person, one human being in Vietnam. Only one. But he killed a lot of insert slur for Vietnamese people, beginning with G here. Killed a lot of them. And his point was, he stopped thinking of them as people, which is the classic returning from battle story, where we just didn't even think of them as human beings. But he also said he was so scared of them, like that he was terrified of them. Because of course he would be. You're in their country, stomping around in the jungle. No one wants to be there, apart from maybe a handful of people. Especially early on, there were a lot more volunteers. But later on, at that point, the objective was survive Vietnam. It's insane that war lasted 10 years as a hot war, and more like 20 years if you include the Cold War part. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know what? That girl looks like my grandmother. She really looks like my grandmother. That's crazy. Like, that style was... It's crazy to think that my grandparents dressed the way people did. What's happening here? What? What are you doing? Yeah, there we go. Fuck me. Fulham. Tough game. She single? Who? I can't remember who I was talking about. I'm pretty baked. My mum? I can't remember. My granddam. She's been dead for like nearly 40 years. I mean, I'm not being funny. I am nearly 50. For my grandparents to be alive would be insane. Like, I mean, Mrs. F's grandmother lived into her 90s and just lived long enough to see her great grandchildren. And hated kids, so didn't really. She was so nonplussed. Granny, hey Granny, this is our son. Oh, son. Oh. And never wanted to hold the baby. You have a grandmother still kicking. She'll turn 100 this August. So my granny died about, let's say 35 years ago. And she was 76. So she'd be 110 if she was alive. So you're saying that your grandmother, like if my granny had lived a similar amount of time, she committed to 100, I think she might still be alive. I met my great-grandfather, who was a fucking pilot and bomber in World War One. I met him. And he was the coolest dude I'd ever met. I met a guy born in the 19th century. He had a cool car. Might have been a Mercedes. And I remember he turned up. This was my mum's grandfather. She adored him. He was like a god to her and was the loveliest guy. Just the sweetest man. And he must have been in his 80s. But yeah, like I've seen photographs that he took of himself dropping bombs on Germany in World War One. And I mean, like, you can see the bombs in the picture. Because they wanted to see where they dropped them and what was going on there. So, 2 birds, 1 stone. Damn, that is awesome. I mean, he would have been one of the OG pool hustlers. Because the game isn't that old. And the idea of having it in a bar to the Depression era is that's like early era pool. Those guys invented how to pool hustle. Damn. I bet he had some fucking stories. When you meet someone from those eras, genuinely interesting. Because they were there for some real shit. Like world wars and shit. Do you know what I mean? And we're like, ugh. My Wi-Fi was down for like 2 hours yesterday. And they're like, I was a pilot in World War One. Wait, what's wrong with... Wait, Ascenta, what happened to the internet? Dude, don't do that. That command is almost specifically if shit's fucked up and I haven't noticed.
This is my wife. This is my other wife. This is my mistress. This is my girlfriend. This is my wife. This is my other wife.
So this must be a TV
is my
show.
mistress. This is my girlfriend. This is my sister. And this one I have to pay money for. But she worth it. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Now please watch my report on Henley Regatta. Dziękuję.
So where was that from? So Borat. F2F Granada Talk TV between 96 and 97, with the character at this time being known as Alexei Krikler. The character now known as Christo Shakiktpari was picked for Comedy Nation. It was dormant when he was on doing Ali G stuff, so it's an old character. Hysterical woman?
You have a loan on the
Hold on.
membership?
If you wait and listen.
I'm reacting, girl. People can react.
You're
Answer the
making
question.
assumptions. No.
Has to be more. What?
That is some income.
Okay, but it's not real because we
It's
can't
not
do
real.
anything.
You know this
with it.
guy?
So
I
what?
know.
What?
I make another probably $250 a month from the admin work.
I am being specifically told that you have income.
I
What is the money that comes in? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude off the bat. It's just like we have been very particular about making sure that people come on that have income.
well, yeah. I mean, I shared all of that when I sent in my documents that I kind of like.
Yeah, we had payroll deposits.
Yeah, because I
On your
had it.
documents.
I just recently separated from a company.
Okay, well that's different. That is a different situation. Okay, well I will allow. Why? What was the separation? I will allow that.
It was a difficult situation between management and I. So I did get a severance, and
So you got laid off. What? Your phone's sorry.
I turned the
What is it
vibrator
doing?
off.
No, it's flashing at me.
I know, that's what the notification.
Planning for the future. That was 5 years. You had 5
Yeah.
years to think about your future.
I had money. I was real good with money. And then
Okay, so then I will ask. Then I will just ask, what is going on here?
so I was with a guy. We were together for 6 years, but we were only married for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And
It's kind of a
then it
hookup of in a marriage. Okay.
blew up everything. Everything.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
But you were together for 6 years. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Why did we divorce after 2 weeks?
So.
Did you keep laughing in the middle of the night?
No.
Okay.
I enjoyed my life. My laugh.
No,
Thank you
it's
very much.
Either way.
Sorry.
That's not a great example. These two are nuts. Then he has things like trans socialists hate America, which is why I think I don't actually like this guy. And I think he quite carefully cherry picks the people he has on the show to be like the most triggering. I don't know what it is with women with blue hair, but that's like Dave Ramsey. Jace. Do you mean Gordon Ramsay? Please tell me you mean Gordon Ramsay. Who's Dave Ramsey? I'm gonna Google Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey, American radio personality. Yeah, this guy. So this guy's nuts. And like super conservative. Probably a big Trump fan. But he does have one really interesting video where he basically has this woman on who talks about how much her and her husband owe, and it's like hundreds of thousands. And every decision they make makes it worse. It's incredible. Corporal punishment, yeah. My final year at primary school, they got rid of it. So it was banned in 1986, which is exactly right. So that was my final year in primary school. They still had the cane. And if we were bad, especially, I mean, the boys especially, you know, we were fucking morons. And if we got pulled up on something, you know, normally we'd be treated by the dinner ladies, oddly enough, who had to do lunch and then watch us during lunch playtime. Well, the teachers had a cup of coffee and smoked. Which is another thing they got cut back on. That there used to be lots of other people working at the school just facilitating stuff that now teachers have to do. Anyway. And I remember our headmaster, Mr. Laird, who was a very fair man, was a decent man, a good teacher. He took us, me and a couple of the other lads who'd been really fucking around, took us into his office, and he pointed at the wall, and there was a cane up there, like the old-fashioned cane. And he said, "Boys, I haven't had to use that in 5 years. Don't make me take it down from the wall." And we were like, oh shit, we fucked up. We were like, yes sir. Went straight back to class. It was fucking scary. That was scary. And then I went to my secondary school, Bournemouth School, in 1987. And of course 1987 was the year of the Great Storm that hit Britain incredibly hard, anywhere coastal especially. Where would they cane you? So I think it varies by teacher, and I think some will hit you on the hand, and some will hit you on the arse. Yeah. I mean, bear in mind that the year I started secondary school was when the teachers had to deal with the fact that corporal punishment had been taken away. And I went to a very conservative boys' school. And like a grammar school. It was a good school for the area in terms of the quality, supposedly, of the teaching. But really, they picked the top 13% of kids in Bournemouth that were in the catchment area. And then they were like, see, the results speak for themselves. But it was a terrible school in terms of how they taught, in terms of the quality of the teaching, the equipment, the everything. It was terrible. Like, really bad. And I know that my friends at the comprehensives talked about the equipment they had and the facilities, essentially. A lot of the money was going there because the feeling was, look, if you're in the top 13% in Bournemouth, you're probably going to be all right. But if we can get a bit more education into some of the lads who are in the bottom, maybe that'll improve their lives. Rather than putting money into the people who are succeeding already. And most of the people that I was at school with, I mean, they're all successful people, not successful in a huge way, but a lot of successful people. For example, Gareth Malone, the choir master, was in my year at school. Ben Richardson, who was a director in Hollywood and has been rumored to be the toxic man in a relationship with Anna Kendrick, who you may know from Pitch Perfect and other films. God, there's a few others. Christian Bale went to my school. Like, those are select few, but everyone I know has a good job or a good business or whatever. So I guess, yeah, in that regard, the school was shit, but we didn't need the help. I think that's the truth of it. Anyway, I am going to show you guys the most interesting part of this, which is not fucking around with the train station or with Bob Hope. Yes, that's Burgess Meredith. 1943. That's why he looked so fucked in Rocky. Anyway, it is 20 past 1. So I will be back tomorrow after Triforce, which I'll be recording in the morning, of course. And then we'll catch up and hopefully we'll fucking win a trophy this year. Cheers. Peace.